Hello students, welcome to Eshwari Thaniksha channel. In this video, we are going to study about respiration and also two types of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So in the last class, we studied about nutrition and different types of nutrition. Students, if you have not watched those videos, you can go to the playlist and you can check those videos. So before going into the video, students, if you are new to our channel, subscribe our channel and also share this video with your friends. So now let us start the video. So what is respiration? The process of breaking down of glucose to release energy in the form of ATP is called as respiration. Meaning is, you know that after digestion what happens is glucose will be formed in the cell. So you know that glucose will be present in the cell now. So what happens to this glucose? So this glucose will break, releasing energy, and this energy will be in the form of ATP. This process is known as respiration. And what is the full form for ATP is adenosine triphosphate. So adenosine triphosphate is the full form for ATP. So now let us study the difference between breathing and respiration. So most of the time students get confused whether breathing and respiration is same or different. So here you can see that breathing is different from respiration. So let us see how it is different. So breathing is a physical process, meaning is here chemical change is not involved. It is just the physical process. Whereas respiration, it is a biochemical process, meaning is it is taking place inside the living organism. So biological species. So that is why it is called as bio. Chemical meaning is chemical change is going to take place during respiration. So what is the chemical change? Chemical change is glucose will be converted into carbon dioxide and water. So can you see here, reactant is different and it is converted into product. Some chemical change is taking place. Therefore it is called as a biochemical process. Whereas in breathing, you cannot see such biochemical process. It is only a physical process, that is taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide. That is called as physical process. So during this process, you cannot see any chemical change taking place. Second difference is the process of inhaling and exhaling the air is called as breathing. Inhaling meaning is intaking of oxygen. So when we breathe, what do? We take in oxygen. That is called as inhalation. And exhaling meaning is giving out. So breathing out. So you are giving out carbon dioxide. That is called as exhalation. So process of taking in oxygen and giving out carbon dioxide is what is going to take place in breathing. Whereas in respiration, you can see the process of breaking down of the food. So food means here it is glucose. So glucose will break down, releasing energy, and this energy is in the form of ATP. The third difference is during breathing energy is required, whereas during respiration energy will be released. So here in respiration you can see glucose will be converted into energy. So you can see here it is ATP is released. ATP is nothing but energy. So energy is released during respiration, whereas for breathing energy is required. And fourth is, where does breathing take place? So breathing takes place in lungs. That is taking in oxygen. So oxygen directly goes into the lungs, and then from carbon dioxide from the lungs will go out of our body. And in respiration you can see respiration takes place in the cell. That is breaking down of glucose will take place in the cell. So these are the major difference between breathing and respiration. So now next we will see two types of respiration. So respiration is of two types. The first type is called as aerobic respiration and second type is called as anaerobic respiration. So let us see the difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So here you can see in aerobic respiration, oxygen is utilized, meaning is oxygen is used during aerobic. From the name itself you can see that aerobic respiration meaning is oxygen is required for aerobic respiration, whereas anaerobic respiration, oxygen is not required. It is not used or it is not utilized. Oxygen is not used during anaerobic respiration. Second difference is it liberates more energy. Very important point. So during respiration you can see more amount of energy is released along with the formation of carbon dioxide and water. So here you can see almost 36 ATP will be released during aerobic respiration. Whereas in anaerobic respiration, less amount of energy. Less means how much it is? Only 2 ATP molecule will be released. You can see how much less it is. So only 2 ATP molecules will be released along with the formation of carbon dioxide and ethanol. Ethanol is alcohol. Ethyl alcohol will be formed in anaerobic respiration. And where this aerobic respiration takes place is it takes place in mitochondria of the cell, and anaerobic respiration takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. And aerobic respiration, so where does it take place is in higher level of organisms. So example, human beings. So usually in man, what type of respiration takes place is aerobic respiration. So you know that oxygen is required for this respiration. Therefore in plants and animals you can see aerobic respiration takes place. Anaerobic respiration, so you can see it takes place in lower organisms. Example is yeast. So in yeast you can see anaerobic respiration taking place. So here schematic representation we will see what happens. So here glucose. So glucose, you know that how many carbon atoms will be present in glucose? C6H12O6. How many carbon atoms are present? You can see here there are 6 carbon atoms. So glucose, a 6 carbon atom molecule which is present in the cytoplasm. So glucose will be converted into pyruvate. So pyruvate is 3 carbon molecule. So meaning is 6 carbon atoms which is present like this. 4, 5 and 6. So this will break like this. 3 carbon atom, 1 molecule, 3 carbon atom, another molecule. So pyruvate will be formed. During this, energy will be released. So how much energy is released here is 2 ATP will be released here. So here this is common for both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. First step is common. So what is the first step? Conversion of glucose to 3 carbon molecule pyruvate, and it takes place in the cytoplasm. So you can see this is the cell. So in the cell you can see this is cell membrane, and here there is a nucleus, and here you can see jelly like structure which is present, which is known as cytoplasm. So here the first step, that is conversion of glucose to pyruvate, takes place in cytoplasm. So here you can see glucose will be converted into pyruvate in the cytoplasm, which is common for both aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. So next what happens is this pyruvate, if oxygen is present, it will take another step. If oxygen is absent, it will take in another path. So it goes through another path. So if oxygen is present, then you can see here in the presence of oxygen, what it will do is this pyruvate will enter into mitochondria. So let us see in the cell where this mitochondria is present. So you can see this is the cell. So can you see here, this cell organelle is called as mitochondria. So one mitochondria we have enlarged. So you can see this is the mitochondria. So now the pyruvate which is formed in the cytoplasm will enter into mitochondria if oxygen is present. So in the presence of oxygen. So in the mitochondria what happens is pyruvate will convert into carbon dioxide and water releasing energy. So here in case of aerobic respiration, large amount of energy will be released. So this is aerobic respiration. Suppose oxygen is absent, what happens is, here you can see in the absence of oxygen, pyruvate will be converted into ethanol. Ethanol is nothing but alcohol. Ethyl alcohol, carbon dioxide and energy will be released. So here only less amount of energy will be released. So this is anaerobic respiration which takes place in the yeast. And here one more anaerobic respiration you can see here, that is taking place in the muscle cells. Suppose whenever you are doing vigorous exercise, so what happens is muscle cells will get less amount of oxygen. So due to the lack of oxygen, what happens is this pyruvate will convert into lactic acid and small amount of energy will be released. So this takes place in the muscle cells. So this is what is aerobic and anaerobic respiration taking place. That is, you can see the first step is common for both aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Conversion of glucose to pyruvate. That is 6 carbon molecule will be converted into 3 carbon molecule and it takes place in the cytoplasm. And depending upon the presence or absence of the oxygen, so these 3 steps will take place. That is, if oxygen is present, only this step will take place. That is, pyruvate will enter into mitochondria and in the mitochondria it will be converted into carbon dioxide and water releasing large amount of energy. If oxygen is absent, then these 2 steps will take place. So in case of yeast, it will be converted into ethanol, carbon dioxide and small amount of energy will be released. And in the muscle cells, so this happens during vigorous exercise. That is, if you are running very fast or if you are doing any exercise and less amount of oxygen is required, at that time in the muscle cells you can see this pyruvate will be converted into lactic acid and small amount of energy will be released. So these 2 are anaerobic respiration and this is aerobic respiration. So here what you should know is where it takes place. So usually aerobic respiration takes place in mitochondria and anaerobic respiration will take place in the cytoplasm. So this is what you have to remember. And this lactic acid which is formed, so this is also known as lactic acid fermentation, and here this is called as ethyl alcohol fermentation which is taking place in the yeast. So these are the important points you have to remember. So students, if you have any doubts you can write in the comment section. I'll meet you in the next video, students.